Hey, everybody. I really appreciate you joining us today. We're very excited about talking to you about Kite and what we're about and the opportunities we have to join the company this year. And thanks to Chris and the BioBuzz team for making this possible. This is a very exciting event for us as well. So you can see there's my quote. So really, for me, what I really love about Kite is the impact we have on patients. And so for those of you who maybe don't know a lot about cell therapy, what we do is basically it's a personalized therapy, and so every time we get a production batch into the facility, we're holding someone's life in our hands, and so it's something we take very seriously, and we really view as a phenomenal opportunity to help patients all the time. And so here you can see one of our earlier patients who's involved in the clinical trials, and it's something that started many years ago. We're very excited to be a part of. All right, so a few years ago, Kite was acquired by Gilead Sciences, and Gilead is based out of California. And one of the things that sometimes that doesn't go so well when you have an acquisition, right? But one of the things that has gone really well between Gilead and Kite is our shared focus on patients. And so, as you may know, Gilead has treatments for HIV, for hepatitis and other things. And similar to Kite, they're really focused on trying to cure those diseases. And so just like Kite is focused on the cure for cancer, Gilead is focused on the cure for HIV and hepatitis and other similar diseases. And so the two of us actually have worked really well together, and it's been a great partnership, and we're looking forward to having this for years and years to come. Yeah, you can keep going. All right, so at our core, you see the words on the left there, focus on the cure. So I think I've said patients about 4 times already. And really that's because that really underlies everything we do. And so we think about how do we make decisions, how do we decide what's most important as we start up a facility or make investments, those types of things. It's all around patient and serving the patients and doing our best to focus on the cure for cancer. And so that really drives our culture. And so that's why you see focus on the cure a few times on this slide. And the other key aspect as we think about the employees and the staff and the way we interact and behave with each other is our core values. And so you can read there as well as I can, but really everyone who signs up for Kite takes this seriously and takes this great responsibility to demonstrate integrity, inclusion, teamwork, et cetera, to make sure we have a strong, diverse team with different backgrounds. We can have lots of different perspectives as we make decisions. And everyone who comes into Kite has the opportunity to contribute in a very meaningful way. And that's something that I, as part of the leadership team at the site here in Maryland, focus on quite a bit, is making sure that everyone feels included and everyone has a chance to speak up, no matter what the background is. So if we have some interns this summer, for example, so they get a couple of interns in and they have some great ideas, I want to hear it. Because I think that really helps us to challenge assumptions and find the best way to do things. So we try to create a very inclusive environment where, again, everyone feels very engaged and very included, very involved. The next one. So the future of cell therapy. So the way back when in 2009, not all that long ago, is when Kite started out in California, in Santa Monica is where the headquarters is. And had some nice early successes in partnership with the National Cancer Institute down in the Rockville area. Started clinical trials, and then we were very fortunate in 2017. You can see the red text on the bottom when Yescarta was approved. And so that was really a huge milestone for Kite, because that was our first commercial product. It was a second cell therapy commercial product on the market, along with Novartis. They've got a very good product as well. But this product, really, we've become the leaders, though. So Kite and Kite Manufacturing has really become the leaders within the industry. The facility out in El Segundo, which is near LAX airport, does thousands of batches a year, saving, really trying to save thousands of people's lives every year. And we recently had a facility in Amsterdam receive approval. And so now we have 2 facilities live. So one in Amsterdam, really just a couple months ago, received approval from the EU. So they're doing the production and distribution then of the Yescarta product throughout Europe. And then we're super excited to say we have product number 2. And that's a first for cell therapy. And so you see the top right where it says Tecartus. That's our second product, and that's for an indication called mantle cell lymphoma. Again, was just approved within the last week or 2. And so that commercial production will start very soon. And on a personal note for me, my father-in-law has mantle cell lymphoma. And so I'm really hoping that this can be a useful treatment for him because he's gone through chemo a couple of times and he's had a rough time of it. So on a personal note, I'm very excited about this one coming on. So think about what is Kite about? What do we focus on? We talked about patients, of course, and that's what this box on the left is: lead cell therapy for hematologic malignancies, and that's where we talk about the Yescarta and the Tecartus products for lymphoma and blood diseases. But within the site here in Maryland that we're growing and building now, we're really focused on pioneering the cell therapy manufacturing and taking it to the next level. A few years ago, when cell therapy commercial manufacturing began, it was basically get to market as fast as you can. And so it kind of replicated what was done in a process development lab and just did it a whole lot of times. And so there's some efficiencies to be gained, some improvements to be made, cost opportunities, those types of things, to make sure that we can make this product as accessible to as many people as we can. So really the focus for our site is around pioneering the next generation of cell therapy manufacturing. So I mentioned a couple of sites we have. So here we're the Frederick, the green box. That's the site we're talking about today that we're building now. It's in construction. If you happen to drive through Urbana, Maryland, you'll see the site there. The outside of the building is done, and we're now installing the clean rooms and working our way through it, which is very exciting. We also have an R&D and a clinical manufacturing site down in Gaithersburg, Maryland, closer to DC. And as I mentioned, we have the commercial manufacturing site for Yescarta out in El Segundo near LA, and the one in Amsterdam. The one in Oceanside is also worth mentioning, the facility there. That's where we're building a facility there to manufacture the viral vector that we use for the manufacturing process. Right now, we buy that from an external supplier, the vector, but really that's one of the key supply chain risks we have, actually, is that viral vector. So if you ask around the world, cell therapy is just tearing it up, right? So cell therapy is going crazy for a lot of companies. There's a lot of opportunities. And so viral vector actually starts to become a risk from a supply chain perspective. And so that's why we took it upon ourselves to build a facility just for that, to make sure that we can, again, reliably provide product to patients. Again, that's our focus. Go to the next one now, Matt. Yep. All right, there we are. So there's our facility in Urbana. The big building on the left is the production facility, and the smaller building on the right is the admin building. As you can see in the bullets there on the right, we anticipate starting production in early 2022, that is. And so we're working our way towards engineering runs to start in January of next year, and then do our process performance qualification runs, EMPQ, those types of things in next year, submit to the FDA, and then assuming all things go well, then we'll start commercial production the first part of 2022. So we're very excited about that. We are going to have the capacity to provide 4,000 plus therapies per year. So that's a lot of people. So we're very excited about that opportunity to be able to treat that many patients. One thing it's also worth mentioning is the admin building has some really nice amenities as well, because again, we want to create a great place to work for employees so everyone feels engaged and we can get the most out of everyone. So it's going to include things like a nice cafeteria and a gym and those types of things to create a great place to work where people feel quite safe, quite comfortable, and excited to be a part of Kite. All right, last slide for me, then you can hear from the rest of the team, where it'll be much more interesting. So a few years ago, Kite had Kite was trying to figure out where do we want to build this manufacturing facility. We knew we wanted on the East Coast because we already had the site in LA. So for distribution purposes, geography, it made a lot of sense to be on the East Coast. And so they looked at different areas on the East Coast, all up and down the seaboard. And really Frederick stood out for the reasons that you see in the blue boxes on the left. It's a high talent area, lots of expertise, lots of technical expertise. So we're very excited about that. But also it's a great place to live. And so I've lived in Frederick County for 11 years now. And my girls have grown up here. And so it's really, for me, a great place to live. And I'm really excited to still be here. And also just from a more practical standpoint, the infrastructure synergies actually works out really nicely. The facility is located in a spot where it's very robust power supply, those types of things. So again, we're trying to supply patients, so the facility can never ever go down. Because as soon as that happens, then there's a pretty high risk we're not going to be able to get cells to somebody. And so we've designed the facility to be very robust. And our goal again is to supply every patient every time. So we're very excited to be here in Frederick, and we're excited to have the chance to share this with you all today. Thank you. So teamwork makes the dream work. Again, I talked about a great place to work and being inclusive and encouraging everyone to be a part of the team and contribute. And so with that, we have a lot of focus on being respectful to folks, listening. So I think one of my biggest jobs as the director of manufacturing is to shut up from time to time and listen to what people are telling me to make sure I have a clear understanding of what's going on within the manufacturing group as well as other groups on site to make sure we can all work together really well. I don't pretend to know everything, and I know I'm wrong plenty of times. And so one thing's like I talked to Garang and others is say, you guys have got to challenge me to make sure we're doing the right thing. And again, that's something where I don't care if you've been on the job 3 days or 3 years, you have the right to stand up and open your voice and challenge and make sure that we're doing the right thing. And I'd much rather someone would, ask the dumb question or have something like that than to sit quietly while we make a mistake and then patients suffer because of it. So that's something we really push within the group and within the site. Go to the next one. The process. All right, so true north at Frederick. So we talk about pioneering cell therapy manufacturing, right, and trying to and taking this to the next step in the evolution. So number one, there's the only paper used on site. That used to show toilet paper. I'm glad we changed it to a notepad. So one of the things we're pushing for is no paper in the suites, in the production suites, and so that means electronic batch records, electronic access to SOPs, electronic tracking of samples, electronic batch disposition, those types of things. The idea there, one, is it drives some reliability and consistency, of course, greatly reduces the likelihood, if not eliminates the likelihood of documentation errors, those types of things. But also speeds us up. It allows us to quickly disposition batches and get cells out the door. Because one of the things that we really focus on is time, what we call vein to vein time. And so we'll go through the process here in a little bit. But basically, when the patient goes to the clinic to have their blood drawn, so we can isolate their T cells, we try to make the time between they give their blood and the time they get the samples back, the modified cells back, as short as possible, and then that will allow us to treat them and have a much better chance then of knocking that cancer down. No open operations, number 4. That's also another step in the evolution for cell therapy. For those companies doing commercial production as well as clinical production to this point, there's a lot of open operations. And while it's all doable, it's aseptic technique, people have been doing it for decades, it does carry with it some risk. And so it increases the likelihood that there's going to be a mistake or some kind of error that could lead to contamination of a batch. And again, one batch is one patient. And so if you contaminate a batch, that's a bad day, because then that person doesn't get their treatment. And so we put a lot of focus then on trying to reduce those types of risks, and closing up the operation does that for us. Go to the next one. All right, here's the process. Very good. So the autologous process, if you look at the little cartoon on the right, the top left, we'll start there. Blood is collected from the cancer patient. From that, the T cells are isolated and then genetically altered. What does that mean? We use a viral vector to insert DNA into the T cells, which then allows those cells to express the chimeric antigen receptor protein, which is the CAR part of CAR T. And once that's done, a couple of days in the process, and then we will grow up the cells until we hit our minimum cell count and send it back to the clinic and back to that same person from where we started. So it really is a continuous process. Once the batch starts, then we have to see it through to the end right away to make sure that the patient gets their cells straight away. That last bullet there is a key one. Do not have the luxury of backup supplies or test runs or inventory or any of those kind of things, because again, this is personalized medicine. One batch is one person. And so we have to, as we just trusted the team, think about risks and robust processing and those kind of things. Every batch has to go. That's our goal. And so it's something where we really put a lot of focus on making that happen. All right, I'm going to hand it over to Damon and Aaron, our 2 manufacturing supervisors that we're super glad to have with us on the team. And then we'll go from here. Take it away, guys.
Hi, everyone. As Brian mentioned, my name is Damon Keene. I am one of the manufacturing supervisors here at the site at Kite. And just a bit of information about me. I'm actually celebrating my 1-year anniversary with Kite today on July 29th. It's been a great journey. I've joined Kite after working for another large biotech, also in Frederick, for the last 13 years prior to joining here. So I've got a number of years of industry experience. One of the reasons I joined Kite was for the challenge of being a part of a process that is autologous, that has more of a direct impact to the patient. My previous years of biotech experience were in a MAB production, monoclonal antibodies, large-scale batches, and the process after a while kind of got to the point where you're creating these batches and you have a nice manufacturing rhythm, and it kind of turns into a manufacturing facility. Joining Kite offered me the chance to be a part of a startup again. And let me just say that, being a part of a startup environment is one of the most rewarding professional experiences you could have working in biotech. For me, this will be startup number 2. My last one, I was a junior technician, kind of new to the industry, and just learning about the different equipment, the different processes, and just how that mad production process functioned. So for me, joining Kite was a way to kind of revitalize my career, to be a part of a learning environment again, not just a manufacturing environment, and to be a part of a team where your input is valued. I've witnessed throughout my time at Kite, all at the TCFO file site and also at the manufacturing site out in El Segundo that Brian mentioned earlier, that collaboration is a huge part of the process. The team looks for your input, it values your input. There are no dumb questions, no dumb answers. We work together to benefit the patient, and that I think is what makes Kite special. So it's been awesome to be a part of this journey so far. So what we're looking for, as far as our team members, I think it's very important that you guys kind of understand. We're looking for people with strong technical skills, good aseptic technique, experience, solid in that area. We're looking for individuals who exhibit strong teamwork characteristics, people who are able and willing to collaborate, willing to speak up and offer, the expertise, and also people who are willing to listen and learn. That's collaboration is a two-way street in that way. We're looking for people who are quality minded. So some of you, I'm sure, have some experience working in biotech environments. And it's important that we work the process. We keep variation out of that process. That we don't take shortcuts that may benefit the operator, but can potentially cause a risk to the patient's safety. That's always at the forefront of our minds as operators and supervisors, managing the process on the floor. And also, we don't want to jeopardize our operator safety. The patients first, and then the operator. Also, safety is also always going to be one of the top focuses of our manufacturing team. And we're looking for people with integrity. We're looking for people who will, see something, who will say something, who will do the right thing, and always look to do it the right way the first time. We're not going to have an environment where we hide mistakes. We will share those mistakes to promote learning and ensure that we are creating a top-notch staff for our new facility. So thank you. I think I've kind of rambled on enough. I really appreciate all of you guys joining us today, and looking forward to screening some of you and seeing which one of you guys are ready to join a dynamic team at Kite. Thanks a lot for your time. Pass off to you, Aaron.
Thanks. My name is Aaron Spivey. I've been with Kite. It'll be 2 years in September. So I joined Kite from a startup company where I was for 14 years. So I looked at Kite as an opportunity to join a company that actually has a commercial product, and the challenges that go along with that. As a lot of growing pains in a startup environment offers a lot of challenges, a lot of opportunity for development and just growth in itself. I actually am currently coming from the California site. So I just joined the Frederick site here back in early June. And one of the things that really excited me transitioning from California to the Maryland site was just the opportunity for development, opportunity for challenge and bringing up a new site. Kite remains and is striving to remain the leader in cell therapy. So a lot of that is bringing in automation, bringing in new and upgraded procedures and processes to the current setup. The current setup right now is very, very manual, working in biological safety cabinets, very hands-on process. And I think the exciting part is moving towards the automation, moving towards automated processing and the challenges that brings. So it's a whole new challenge to our industry. I think along Damon's lines, I agree. That's the kind of employee we're looking for. But I also want to take the opportunity to say we want to bring people in who are willing to learn, who want to be developed. I think our major role as supervisors and the management team in general is we want people who want to come in and learn and grow, and we want to be supportive of that and really lead you on your journey as you either are introduced to the industry or you want to continue your career pathway into the industry. I think supporting each other is key. Our success is your success. If you're not successful, we will not be successful as a company. So that's a lot of our role and a lot of our goals is to make sure everyone is successful. And I think, as we move on and introduce some of our CTSs, they're the key to the company. They're the key to our success. You are the key to our success. And that's why we want to build strong teams. And we want those opinions. We want your ideas. We want that input. Based on my past experience, I was with that startup company for 14 years. And it was always nice when new people came in and brought new ideas and challenged us in our ways of thinking. And that's how we grow and improve. So we want people to come in. We want people to contribute. We want people to use their voice. And we want to help you be successful. And that's the challenge, and that's the excitement of it all. So I think with that, we can start introducing our CTSs.
I guess you guys can see why we love our supervisors. Hi, my name is Carolise, and I'm one of the cell therapy specialists here. I've been here for about 10 months, almost a year. And so the thing that brought me to Kite is that I was interested in challenging myself as somebody who's been in the industry for quite a bit of time. And I've never been part of a startup, and I thought it was an interesting opportunity to learn more about what goes into bringing up an organization such as this one. Additionally, I've had a cell therapy experience in the past, so I wanted to continue along that path and bring some of the skills that I have picked up throughout the years to contribute to the growth of the company. I have to say that Kite has met and possibly exceeded the expectations that I've had being here so far. It has offered me visibility, so I feel like the work that I've put forth is recognized. I don't feel like I'm not important. I feel valued. I would also say that Kite is very mission oriented. So it's not enough to just state it. You can actually see it in the everyday. You can actually see it with everybody's interactions. We all have the same final goal, which is to get products out to the patients. So patient first mentality is important. So that is what I value here. And also, it's a very inclusive culture. So I always feel like I can go to anybody, even interdepartmentally, and ask my questions, or even talk to my team. I might shoot Rohan an email and ask him a question, and he'll respond right back. Or if I'm struggling with anything more serious, I can reach out to any one of my supervisors. As you can see, they're very helpful. So everybody has this collaborative mentality, which I think is very important for working in the lab. And that builds camaraderie and support in the lab, which I think is necessary in order to have a more efficient day and be able to get products out to the patients, which is the ultimate goal. So I will say that, it's been a very rewarding experience, and anyone that we bring on the team, we want to have that same mentality, the same drive for trying to get this product out to the patients, but also just being really relaxed and fun. We're all human and we all like to enjoy ourselves. So, that's kind of where we're at. So I'm sure Mark would agree.
Absolutely. I think Caroline, Carolise just nailed it with what she said. And a little bit about myself. My name is Mark Gunto. I was hired as a cell therapy specialist. I came into Kite with about 10 years of industry experience, specializing in upstream cell culture. I never worked in a site startup or cell therapy, but I jumped on the opportunity to be a part of a new automated process and realized the importance of our work, knowing that each batch is most likely that person's last chance. Just to go into a personal story, so in order to be trained, I had to spend the first 2.5 months in California, which was, I mean, it was a pretty good time, but at the same time, it wasn't easy being away from my wife and 1-year-old daughter. So they actually made arrangements for me to fly home twice a month, which made it a little bit easier. What's great is one day my wife called saying that we had a package from Kite. It was addressed to my daughter. Turns out they sent this soft blanket with her name and her birth date stitched on it. And it's great. She still sleeps with that blanket every night. That's the only way, you know, we get her to just fall asleep. You know, she's comfortable and happy with it. And I mean, it's just the small things that they do really makes you feel valued. And I've never felt that I worked for a company that, you know, just makes you feel appreciated and makes you feel like, you know, you're, you know, putting the patient first, and everything you do, you know, it makes a difference. So I'll just pass it off to Rohan from there.
Thanks, Mark. I'm Rohan Bajaj. I've been with Kite for slightly over 2 years now. I started off in the El Segundo site. I was working with Aaron. It's definitely a very unique and like fulfilling experience working for Kite. Like, you are handling patients' cells in your hands. It's like you're holding their lives and you're responsible for that. And you gotta have like that type of mentality to, you know, you wanna help people. And also, when I joined the Frederick site, one of my favorite things about Kite was the interdepartmental atmosphere. Like, if I ever have a question from like anyone, like say in quality or like in the facilities team, I can just go up and ask them, and I don't have to worry about like talking to someone else to go ask that question. They'll just respond to me right there. So like having that ability to, you know, go up and just talk to people expands not just like what I feel like is my value to the company, but like it expands like, you know, your overall like learning in your like field. So going off of that, we can also talk about what a day in the life of a CTS is, because, you know, you're always dealing with other departments, and in terms of what we do. So one of the things, the main goal is you're going to be working with patient cells. So you come in, you talk to your team, you like figure out, okay, what am I doing today? Because like 2 days are the same. One day you could be doing a certain process, the next day you're doing another. So, you know, you always come in, you talk to your teammate because you're always working with another person, and you like go into the clean room, you know, get yourself ready and work on the process. But not only that, on another day, you could be just, you know, working on reagent prep. So it gives you a unique opportunity to like learn different things, and it's not the same all the time. That's why I believe, like, you may have heard us mention teamwork a lot in this presentation. That is definitely, I think, the number one key. If you need to be able to like just work with other people and just be open with them, because they're there to help you, you're there to help them. And that's what gets our product to our patients and, you know, helps like save lives. So that's definitely like our number one key. But not only that, Kite also gives you a lot of like career developmental opportunities. So when you're not in the clean room, which it's not that often, but when you're not in the clean room, you get opportunities to, you know, work on other tasks to like streamline the process, because like I mentioned, people value your opinion here. And you know how Mark and Carolise also mentioned that. So you get to like streamline the process with like editing SOPs, or, you know, just being flexible and helping others out. Some departments may come up and ask you questions to help them, and you can work to help them out. And this really helps develop not only your ability as a cell therapy specialist, but like, okay, what do I want to do with my career? So I believe all of those things are necessary and very valuable for Kite. After this, I think I can hand it off to Matt to talk about the recruiting process.
Before we do that, I'll just touch on the leaders in our community. So in addition to making a difference in the lab, we try to make an impact in the community. So Kite involves themselves in the community in many different ways. We've had a long-standing relationship with Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, which, if you know, we deal with blood cancers. So we have been participating with them for quite a while. We actually had a walk coming up. With the current environment now, we might have to push that back, but that doesn't mean that we won't be participating in any of these activities later on in the future. We also are currently collaborating with United Way. Unfortunately, we can't do much in person, but we are trying to see if we can do something virtually. And additionally, we have donated to the Frederick Rescue Mission. So Kite is very passionate about extending help outside of the lab and outside of just, the patients that we're dealing with on a day-to-day. So we also try to encourage creativity and unity on site. And we have a culture club that Mark is actually a very active member in. So Mark, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about the culture club.
Sure. So the goal of our culture club is to maintain that positive, close-knit culture as we continue to expand our team. And like Carolee said, we reach out to support the community through donations to charities and volunteering. We also hold Zoom happy hours. They're done through Zoom, obviously, due to the current situation with COVID, but I'm sure once we get back on site, it'll be more personable. Just today, everyone received a $25 gift card to a distillery in downtown Frederick. So, they do take care of us, trying to make sure we're happy and getting through these tough times. Overall, the Culture Club is just striving to make this the best place to work. And we keep that in mind as we interview new candidates. Going to you, Matt.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Mark. I hope everyone can see the passion that we have for serving our patients. My name is Matt Levy, and I'm head of talent acquisition for our technical operations group. The way I like to say it is, what family hasn't had cancer knock on their door? Mine included. In fact, I'm a lymphoma survivor. And when I got sick several years ago, I was working for a big pharma company. I must say I felt a little bit like an employee number. And when I got cured of that disease, I thought, boy, I'd love to come to a company where I don't feel like a number and where I can make a difference for patients like I used to be. And that's when I sought out Kite and was pleased to be able to join 2 or 3 years ago. We're anxious to see about you guys joining us in this mission. And to that end, I do want to take a minute to talk a little bit about what our opportunities are and how you would apply for them. We have a number of opportunities, 20 or 30 available in our Frederick facility. But I would be remiss if I didn't also mention that while the Frederick facility is the focus of our conversation today, that Brian mentioned earlier that we have another amazing site in Maryland, in Gaithersburg, where we're concentrating on research and clinical manufacturing using our cell therapy knowledge in solid tumors. So be sure also to check out opportunities in Gaithersburg. But as it relates to Frederick, you can see a number of examples here. We've highlighted the cell therapy specialist positions because that is the emphasis of our conversation today. While we have 2 cell therapy positions posted on our website, please know that behind that are many other individual opportunities. So it's more than just 1 or 2. We're hiring several between now and the end of the year. Could be, a dozen or a couple of dozen. So definitely express your interest. And as we say there are many more on the way. So if these opportunities by chance are not right for you, please think about referring your friends or family. We would love to speak with them and evaluate them for our opportunities. All right. Yes. So to that end, we realize that we have a great mission, But we like to joke that nor is this completely volunteer work. You also need to be paid and receive benefits for the skills and abilities and credentials that you bring to the table. And to that end, Kite, as part of Gilead, benchmarks our pay and benefits with what I believe are the best companies in the world in our peer group, so big pharma and biotech and multinationals. And so our benefits include very strong compensation, including base pay, annual bonus, and we even give restricted stock to all of our new hires, regardless of level. We also have significant medical, dental, and vision benefits that are available on day one. We have an employee stock purchase program and a 401k. And would you believe that our 401k, we give up to a $15,000 a year match, dollar for dollar, with no vesting period and no waiting period. The catch is you have to contribute that much to get the match, but it caps out at $15,000, which is, I think, exceedingly generous. But it's not all about the monetary benefits that Kite offers. It's also about career development, and you heard several of us stress that we know that whatever position you join us in at Kite, it's likely not the position that you want to retire in. You want to continue to learn and grow, and we have a number of different opportunities to support you in that growth. And hopefully, if you have the aspiration, the track record of success, and the intellectual horsepower, we would love to help you to continue to contribute at Kite in numerous positions throughout your career. And lastly, as it relates to benefits, I like to say that we have a work hard, play hard culture, which means, yes, we definitely work hard, but we also want you to be able to take time off to recharge with your friends and family. And we give very generous, I believe, time off benefits that include vacation and holidays and so forth. So our recruitment process, I'd just like to review that quickly with you because I have been an applicant myself. And I know that many times it feels like a black box or maybe a black hole. And I want to assure you that that's not the case at Kite. That when you apply online to our positions, a recruiter, a member of my team, will review your resume. They will look at it with their own two eyes and evaluate it against the criteria that we seek. And if we feel like you're a match, you will be shared, your resume will be shared with our hiring managers. And then if things continue to progress, you'll be able to have a phone interview with the recruiter where not only will we be assessing your skills, but you will also have an opportunity to assess us and ask us questions to determine if you feel that Kite would be a good fit for yourself. We then give you an opportunity to speak with our hiring managers, and ultimately, in this pandemic, we're doing Zoom video interviews. The point is that you'll have several touch points to evaluate if Kite is the right employer for you, and it goes without saying that Kite will have several touch points where we can evaluate if we think that you would be good to join our team. Ultimately, we're using video interviews to make our final decisions. So we're not waiting out this pandemic. We are extending offers as soon as possible and as soon as practical after those Zoom interviews. If you have questions, you're welcome to reach out to myself. You're welcome to reach out to my colleague, Ben Wolf, who's on the line. Another one of my colleagues, John Peace, is also actively involved in the Frederick recruiting. And ultimately, we just seriously encourage you to explore more on our website and learn more about what we do and our mission. So with that, that is going to conclude the formal remarks that we have, but we definitely want to leave the next 15 minutes for a Q&A. We love to engage you in questions because we know that we couldn't possibly have answered everything that's on your mind.